My story began in a special education classroom where I student taught. There were four students with varying abilities and disabilities, including mostly specific deficits in reading and written language. Along with the students, there were two teachers, including me, and one to two aides, depending on the day. During my time there, I worked with 3 to 4 students during reading and written language each day for an hour. During this time, I could see that my students were getting frustrated when I asked them to write. They had a hard time creating just a few sentences. I saw that one student was especially struggling, causing her to be frustrated and upset about her writing. Their lack of enthusiasm for writing went on for a couple days, and I had to do something about it. I was frustrated because I saw my students struggling with their writing. I felt the need to find a way to help them because it pained me to see them getting upset. Then I came up with the idea about using little notebooks to communicate with my students. I was excited to try it out on Monday to see if it really would work. I created a little notebook for one student and then for the other students. This notebook was used to share writings between my students and me. They could ask me questions or tell me something about themselves, and I wrote back. Using this notebook is an informal way of having them write. They did not have to worry about punctuation or grammar and took the pressure off of writing. My students were excited to write to me, and I could see their improvements in writing. I gave them writing samples, and their work became increasingly better. I regularly reviewed their notebooks and saw what they needed to work on, while incorporating what I saw into the lessons that I taught. This past week, I started the notebook idea with another student who refuses to write, but will write to me. Before the notebook, this student could not complete or write a complete sentence, and now he is writing one. The notebook has opened many doors for my students, but it's also giving me an assessment piece for their writing. Now I feel joy and feeling of pride because I can see the progress in their writing, and seeing the joy on their faces makes it all worth it for me. What I did was just create a simple informal assessment that helps me see where my students are in their writing while creating an avenue for them to express themselves. I never thought that I would see such huge results from my students. I feel like I know my students better, and I'm giving the chance to learn about their interests and hopes and dreams. At the same time, I learn about their writing skills. From my students' perspective, they were so frustrated and struggled to write a few sentences. In their eyes, they do not like writing and would fight me to write. Now they found an outlet to practice their writing and found something positive about writing. This notebook has opened the door to success in writing, and now they take pride in their writing. Finally, as an educator, I will develop writing tools to help my students achieve their writing goals and strengthen the bond between my student and teacher. I will reach out to every student in my classroom to accommodate their needs to be successful in the classroom as I did for my students in my classroom. Now my students are coming up with short stories to write when just a month ago they were struggling to write a sentence. It doesn't have to be many tools to help us